Tether says Q1 net income reached $1.04 billion, while its surplus reserve buffer passed $8 billion. Tether posts billion frames the pressure because the numbers reinforce USDT's scale, but they also keep attention on transparency, Treasury exposure, and reserve quality. The supplied evidence lists total assets of about $191.77 billion and liabilities of about $183.54 billion. The useful part is the test in front of the story, not a broad market slogan. Reserve composition and circulation growth are the next signals. That gives the opening a measurable checkpoint and keeps the story tied to named levels, named participants, named rules, or named product steps. The confirmed baseline is the reserve snapshot. The BDO attestation described USDT as fully backed one as of March 31, 2026. Tether also listed $141 billion in direct and indirect US Treasury holdings and an excess reserve figure of $8.23 billion. This baseline matters because it gives viewers the part that can be checked before any larger conclusion is drawn. It also limits the story to the facts already visible. An attestation is a point-in-time view, not a permanent guarantee. The viewer can separate the setup from speculation. One side is the factual baseline, and the other is the result that still needs confirmation. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. The mechanism is a stablecoin issuer earning yield on large reserve assets while maintaining a redemption buffer. In plain English, when reserve assets exceed token liabilities, the excess can act as a cushion for confidence. For Tether posts billion, that mechanism matters because the phrase points to profit, but the real mechanism is reserve scale and liquidity. The stress point is specific, whether reserves remain simple, liquid, and available across changing market conditions. This is the part that makes the headline useful, because it explains why one level, deadline, filing, reserve figure, integration, or data point can change behavior. The direct impact lands on USDT users, exchanges, stablecoin competitors, and regulators. A larger surplus can reassure users, while Treasury scale makes Tether harder for policymakers to ignore. The company also said USDT circulation increased by more than $5 billion into the second quarter. The practical consequence is Tether's financial size now matters beyond crypto trading venues. That is the viewer value here, understanding who faces the change and why the change is not the same for every participant. The effect is not evenly distributed, so the segment focuses on the group with the clearest supported exposure. The unresolved part is how regulators and market participants judge the reserve model over time. Strong profit does not end every transparency concern. That gap matters because users still need ongoing visibility into asset mix, liabilities, and redemption behavior. The cleaner proof would be future attestations, reserve composition detail, and stable redemption performance. Until that appears, the story should be read as a defined setup with a real open question. That does not make the story smaller. It makes it cleaner because the unresolved detail is exactly where risk can be misread. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. The concrete signal to follow is reserve updates, USDT circulation, and regulatory attention. Those signals will show whether confidence expands with the balance sheet. Tether posts billion becomes easier to read if surplus reserves grow and USDT redemptions remain smooth. It weakens if reserve quality questions or regulatory pressure become more central. The final readout is simple. Profit is big, but reserve trust is the real test. A strong next signal should be observable, not emotional. A filing, close, data release, official term, usage number, or liquidity change.